Lolo som som. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Jazz Guitar Hour at UIS. I'm Jose Gobo. I'll be here every Wednesday at 6 o'clock talking about jazz and guitar and music and everything around it. This week, if you're following this thing, you've been noticing that I'm in a different location. So this is actually the first time that the Jazz Guitar Hour at UIS. It's happening at UIS. Isn't that cool? So this song that I played is called "Spring Can Really Hang You Up the Most." I'm kind of rushing to get to spring because it's feeling nice already outside compared to the previous weeks. Anywho, so I think I'm gonna play another song just to warm up my brain in terms of talk about something, any subjects related to what I'm playing here. Um, Feel free to drop your if you have anything in mind, if you anything if you wanna ask about, just drop in the comments. And I already have one thing that I used here that I could talk about a little bit: the use of Tony Huerta's what's that chord? Major 7, sharp 9, sharp 11. Well, I'm gonna play a little bit more, just in case. Maybe I think a good idea to keep this thing is like to just play for a little, in case people want to just listen to music instead of being nerding out on jazzy subject. But then on the maybe on the second half, I can talk about stuff, okay? Or just play. We'll see. So yeah. Hey Andy, how's it going? There was Corcovado, Antonio Carlos Jobim. Um, I'm gonna mention before I forget, because I think I will forget the the chord. I refer to Toninho Horta chord because he used that chord a lot. The major seven, E major seven, sharp nine, sharp 11. Right? That's a chord that you can use. So let me see, two situations in which you can use it. Um, well, on Corcovado, a good one simple way to use it is the sound. It's a pretty dense sound, right? You can just basically replay every time you have a. You can replace a half diminished chord instead of playing half diminished. You can play that guy. Don't ask me why. Especially in this case of Corcovado, it works really well because the melody is on the minor third or sharp nine. So, like, where are we? That's a regular chord, but instead you can do. And even kind of resolve it. What I mean by resolving is you're playing the major seven. You can play the minor seven, and then it becomes a regular Jimi Hendrix chord. Cool. All right, so that's already a tip. Um, and I counted a super slow tempo on purpose, challenged myself a little bit, because I said I was rushing to get to spring, and I am in Springfield, but longing for spring, and I think I rushed, but hopefully not too much. It's kind of hard to keep like play a whatever it could be a bossa, it could be a ballad, like to play super slow tempos. So I'll play something else and see what happens. Oh, I mentioned last week to talk about giant steps. So, and one thing that I have been that it is in my mind is to talk about ways to connect chords. You know, which is gonna be no, it's not gonna be anything new. Uh, if you're already familiar, if you have been struggling, as I have been struggling, learning how to play jazz. So maybe something like I'm gonna talk about how to connect chords. But before getting to giant step, I'm gonna play just a rhythm changes first as a warm up. Okay, so a few lines over rhythm changes in B flat. So what I said that it's gonna be no surprise, and I mean it. Like, so how can you practice that thing to connect the chords? Uh, I don't. For you can think of the scales. You can think of arpeggios. So if you're thinking of arpeggios, you can play. Just kind of run each chord, which sounds like an exercise, right? But and you can, because here I'm playing just root position. I have done a lot of that a long time ago. So more lately, I don't know. I would but I think it's a good idea to be able, to improvise over the rhythm changes, only playing chord tones. Like let me try. So you see, you can hear the movements. Really outlining the chords. Bridge. Okay, you may say that I'm not playing that I'm playing extra notes, and so there are not chord tones. And then we get into a really interesting debate, I think, of people that are like pro scales versus people that are anti scales. So a regular chord, if you're playing a seventh chord, you're playing four notes, correct? Four notes. One, two, three, four. And a diatonic scale has seven notes. So you're basically playing the chords, the arpeggio, and you're adding the 9, the sharp 11, don't ask me why, and the 13. That's 7 notes. So you're playing the entire scale, but in thirds. So what I'm trying to say here is it doesn't really, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter much if you're thinking about scales or arpeggios, as long as if you're playing the scales, you know the relationships between the notes that you're playing the scale and the chords. Make sense? So here. So I'm playing scales somewhere linearly. But trying to hit important notes on the chord. That was more arpeggio-like, I guess. So yeah, let's get to giant steps then, because that's one tune that a lot of people freak out about, like because the chords move so fast. But if you apply basically the same concept as a ballad, like as anything, just run the damn scales and arpeggios, like I'll just play a little bit and talk about later. Okay, giant steps. What about it? Uh, chord tones, arpeggios, scales, and chromatic notes. I don't know what else to say. Um, so, and how do you start? I guess like that's the maybe a good way to approach it. You start playing slow and with something simple. For example, you play here like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and then you practice playing only half notes, meaning some. Well, that's kind of tricky. Let's say quarter notes. It might be a little easier because otherwise you're gonna have to pick a note. Yeah, just have quarter notes. So you're gonna play like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. And actually, before instead of just improvising, before really improvising, I would say a good idea would be to start just trying to first plan ahead which scales are. It's only three scales. B flat. If there, that's of course you can use how many as you want, but one like starters kit approach would be to just think of three scales: B flat major, G major for those two, and E flat major, and that's it. Period. And then G. Did I say yeah? And then G again, E flat again, B again. And just make sure you map and you know when to use to change each scale. So let's say if you I just had to do quarter notes and change and try to just run the scale. I'm gonna start here on the note F sharp just because it's low. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now key of G, E flat, B, E flat, G, B, comes E flat, top B, top now, E, G, E flat, B, E flat, G, B, E flat, back to B, stop. Wasn't it beautiful and musical? Not necessarily so, but it get like once you're able to do that, it gives you a little bit of like you have your the tools set. Your toolbox is you're selecting the tools that you're gonna use to build whatever you're trying to build. In this case, a solo. Um, so yeah, then let's see how can you get a little bit more creative with that. I was just running the scales. You can also start. I think it's very important to practice starting on a higher register as well. That's one thing I think we as guitar players we tend to just start everything on the like from low to high. And if you always practice like that, I think there's a high chance that you're gonna play like that as well, right? So I'm gonna do the same thing now, but starting on the F sharp or even higher, starting on who are you? A sharp up there. So 1, 2, 3, key of B, C, G. Once again, 3, 4, B, G, B, E flat, G, still G, E flat. This is hard. F and back to B. Now E flat, G, B, ba, pero, ba, 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 ro, do, ru, do, bi, rum, ba, do, bum, bum, bi, ru, din, da, ro, da. Sounds so good. It's all so you like make sure you know where you are in the tune. That's rule number one. I think never like don't get lost on the form. Um, but yeah, then one thing that it's a lot of people do, and excuse me, that may actually maybe one of the reasons why a lot of people don't like to play that tune as well, um, is to just always play the notes, the 1, 2, 3, 5 pattern that Coltrane actually played a lot in his solo, on his original solo on the album Giant Steps. But he did it like many different ways. Like, but a lot of people play just you know, which fine. I mean, it's a tool as well. Why not use it? But I don't know. I practice a little bit of that. I didn't practice that because you can do that in like starting from the 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 5. But you can also do 3, 4, 5, 7. See if I can do. I don't know. You can do that in any part of the chord as you want. Um, but you can also think of chord tones, just like the same thing. Let's try to be cohesive here now. The thing that I did with the rhythm changes playing only chord tones, you know. Let me try that with Giant Steps. 1, 2, 3. Little chromatic doesn't hurt. Okay, so I'm basically playing chord tones, but adding a few extra notes to each chord. For example, if you're playing the B flat, of course you can play the 9. And of course you can play the 6th. And see, this type of sound That's a sound that I like using, playing that song a lot, like this type of pentatonic. Uh, see this type of shape. A player that I like a lot that does a lot of that is Kenny Garrett. You know this type of. I think he got a lot of it from playing with Woody Shaw, that use this type of sounds a lot. You see, like playing a B major, that type of sound. But applying that to giant steps would sound like. See, especially the descent. Okay, so like trying to focus on the type of sound. Of course, the first thing that I recommended is practicing very like with one, just playing quarter notes and just running the scales, right? Um, and this one is a little bit just like try to get a pentatonic-ish sound. And I'm sneaking in a lot of chromatic stuff here, right? So another approach would be to like a more bebop type of sound would be something like. I guess a good way to describe would be to just try to connect the notes more diatonically, maybe, and not necessarily diatonic, but like close to with neighbor tones. Let's see if that's what I mean. You know what I'm saying? It's a different sound than the pentatonic thing. I'm sneaking in a few bebop cliches, which I have practiced many of them. Uh, yeah, so a couple of different approaches, to the tune. I'm getting tired of giant steps. Let's play something else. And by the way, the few brave people watching right now, maybe millions of people will watch it later. But for now, is it making sense? Like, is it too? Am I making any sense? I don't know. In the back of my mind, I think I am. Hopefully, but feel free to let me know. All right, that was I think it's Miles Davis tune, right? It's called Milestones. Tricky Changes as well. That's another one that takes I don't know, like when you hear Giant Steps, it's a more scary name, I think, but there are lots of tunes that take a lot of effort to connect the chords, you know? Like starts with just a 2-5-1, fine, no problema. But then it resolves and then goes to the 4 but dominant and then a random A flat, a 2-5-1 that would go. Well, it's not nothing is random in this life. A flat minor to D flat 7. It could be the D flat is a tritone sub that goes to C minor and then a half step up. Don't ask me why. And then a B minor, a 2-5 that would go to A, but it doesn't. So that may be the moment's notice thing. You know, when you do every time you have a 2-5, you can do a half step. You can do the 2 and the 5 half step up, or a half step below. In this case, he did both. So, but actually, yeah, C minor, D flat minor, B minor, E7. Lots of changes. Oh my God. But that's the thing. One important thing to mention, a good thing about these tunes that have lots of changes. I mean, if it's played well, it sounds great. But the thing is, they already provide you a lot of material. Meaning, if you just basically if you're able to just make the harmonies, just make your way to the changes, you're already, you know, sound like. You know, just the sound of each chord. The harmony already provides you a lot of material, you know. Just by playing the changes, you're already sounding interesting. Yeah, milestones. I played a little earlier on that tune Conception, George Sharon. That's another one full of changes. You know, very even in I don't know. They might be not the most, you know, the best tune to play on a wedding. You know, when the groom and the bride are walking, but they're definitely good exercise. You know, like I think I in my opinion, everything that I'm saying. So of course it's my opinion. We should be able to play, you know, over those changes as an exercise. Conception. Yeah, the chords move pretty quickly. Bridge. And once again, I cannot think of any magical formula, that will solve the way to navigate the changes, scales, and chord tones. Let's see, just conception now, just arpeggios. Bridge. See, am I playing the chord tones? If I play, yes. Here's the minor 7, root, flat 9, sharp 9, third, sharp 11. It's all chord tones. The whole altered scale. And that's I think it's a hip voicing for A flat 7 altered. You're playing the open B right next to the C. So the two top open strings, and no wrong notes. Just your regular altered. Okay, I'm gonna play one more, maybe. Let's see. Right. What was that? Ornithology, right? Yeah. Anthropology is the rhythm changes. This is ornithology, which is based off of the changes of how high the moon, right? Yeah. What else? Just I think. Yeah. A lot of tunes with chords with lots of changes. Right? G major. I kept flipping the. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe I'll check it out later. But there's a first ending and a second ending. So G, 2 5 to F, and then this F becomes minor, 2 5 to E flat, and then it goes to G minor. A little turnaround. Same thing, G major, G minor, to F major, becomes minor, and then E flat, and then 2 5 G major, and then the turnaround. Okay, the number of bars is the same, so I don't know if it was that tragic to miss the first and the second ending, but something to work on. I'll play one more. Why not? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching later. If you're watching later, I'll be here. Come rain or come shine. 100 people, thousands, the one, and it doesn't really matter. Muchas gracias. Thank you for checking it out, and I'll see you next time, next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Here, the Jazz Guitar Hour at UIS. Send questions if you have questions. If not, I'm just keep rambling all by myself. All right. Bye bye. Have a good night.